Hello everyone. Welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. General Hospital's Kristina Wagner marvels at her former self on her Felicia-Versary. That girl then. She was on her way. It's hard to believe that it's been 40 years since Kristina Wagner made her very first appearance on General Hospital as Felicia Cummings, sneaking into Port Charles even as she snuck into our hearts. In fact, it's almost as hard to believe as the fact that when she first appeared on September 7, 1984, she was a he. Kind of. The erstwhile Kristina Melandro's first day on the show, she was virtually unrecognizable, which is exactly what Felicia wanted. We never got the name of the valet who helped the pop sensations the Riff Raff unload their band equipment at a charity ball, but it was clear from the start that there was something off about the kid, as Frisco called him. By that night, when the valet slithered out from under Frisco's bed to try grabbing a ring from the nightstand, we were all intrigued, as was Frisco when he caught the would-be thief red-handed. There was no name that first day, and Wagner didn't even have any lines, but once Frisco started interrogating the boy he'd caught, things took off at a breakneck speed. It was only when the valet spilled coffee on himself as he tried to make a run for it that Frisco started to realize that he might have been mistaken. The cry was not very boyish. Frisco put a stop to the escape attempt, yanked the kid's hat and, "Well, what do you know?" he marveled at the long hair that spilled out. "Satisfy your curiosity?" The girl spat at him after a few beats of glaring. "Baby, I'm getting more curious by the minute." And so was the audience. The beginner thief told Frisco that her name was Felicia, but that was about the only straight answer she'd offer for some time, instead inventing a few different backstories as to why she was trying to steal his ring. In those first few scenes, Felicia's defiant determination crashed into Frisco's laid-back amusement in a dance that was nothing short of enchanting to watch. And that, of course, was just the beginning. Their instant chemistry, we're pretty sure, could be seen from space. Not for nothing, but Melandro and Wagner would eventually marry in real life. By the time Frisco whisked Felicia off to General Hospital, she tried making one last run for it, only for him to trip her up and hurt her ankle. We were hooked. It was the start of a globe-trotting adventure full of excitement, betrayal, and Aztec treasure. Frisco found his Aztec princess, and their mesmerizing push-slash-pull relationship continued for decades as they became one of daytime's most beloved super couples. By the time they'd had daughters Maxie and Georgie, of course, Felicia had realized that Frisco would likely never grow beyond that amused boy, hungry for adventure and ready to run off at a moment's notice. Eventually, adventures with him and the WSB just didn't hold the allure that they used to, and Felicia settled down to build a life with Max Scorpio. There were a few bumps along the way, as you'd expect, but even the strongest of relationships have those, right? And they don't come much stronger than the one that Felicia and Mac have built. Through it all, Felicia's never lost that defiant determination, and it's helped her survive everything from paralysis and Caesar Phazon to the loss of her daughter, Georgie. She's shown us time and again that she makes her own fate, even as her portrayer has shown us that she shines no matter what's thrown Felicia's way. Love, loss, or a boyish valet, we're just thankful Felicia's been in our lives for nearly 4 decades. And we'll always eagerly be awaiting what comes next. I'm an entirely different person today than I was in the early days. Entirely different, Wagner told Soap Opera Digest in 2024. A lot of hardships have happened in my life. And it's easier to say today that I sit here in gratitude for having weathered a lot of things, and to sit here and be able to find newfound joy with all the stuff that's coming my way at work, in my personal life. I think I've evolved, and I like me better today than I did that girl then. But that girl then, she was on her way. She was finding her way. She messed up a lot as I do now, but she stood back up and was very resilient. But I'm really grateful to be standing here, she added. I embrace my life, all of it. And I have to say, there's been an awful lot of luck along the way. I'm very privileged. Soap operas are built on time, memory, and transformation. For fans of General Hospital, the passage of time often feels like a living scrapbook, each character carrying decades of storylines and evolution. And when it comes to legacy characters, few shine as brightly, or with as much warmth, as Kristina Wagner. Recently, Wagner marked what fans lovingly call her Felicia-Versary, a celebration of the day she first stepped into the shoes of Felicia Cummings, the feisty, fearless, and always romantic heroine of Port Charles. And instead of simply reminiscing, Kristina did something powerful. She looked back at her younger self with awe and tenderness. That girl then, she was on her way, Wagner marveled in her heartfelt reflection, sharing a glimpse into both her life and Felicia's. It wasn't just nostalgia, It was a testament to growth, resilience, and a career intertwined with one of soap opera's most enduring icons. The birth of Felicia. It was 1984 when Kristina Wagner first burst onto General Hospital. Felicia wasn't introduced quietly. She entered as a fiery Aztec princess, pulled into adventure through her connection to Frisco Jones, Jack Wagner. Their romance was an instant classic, capturing the hearts of fans with a whirlwind of danger, stolen jewels, and undeniable chemistry. But for Kristina, it wasn't just about creating a love story. It was about finding her voice. Back then, I was just a young woman, stepping onto a set filled with talent I admired, she later recalled. Felicia became my way of learning who I was, too. Looking back at old clips now, Wagner admits she sometimes barely recognizes the girl on the screen. She was wide-eyed, fearless in her own way, and still unsure of what the world had in store. But I can see it now, she was on her way. She didn't even realize the journey she had signed up for. Felicia and Frisco. A love that defined a generation. No Felicia-Versary would be complete without mentioning her and Frisco. Their love story was electric, filled with daring rescues, heartfelt goodbyes, and that unforgettable ballad, All I Need, which became the soundtrack for millions of fans. Those were the days of adventure and romance at a fever pitch, Wagner once said. Felicia and Frisco gave people escapism, but they also gave them hope. They represented that idea that no matter the danger, love was worth fighting for. As she reflects now, Kristina sees that her younger self carried not only the weight of a character but also the responsibility of embodying a kind of dream. That girl then didn't know how much of an impact she would have. How many people would write to me about how Felicia gave them courage or inspired their own evolution? And Kristina's. Time hasn't stood still for Felicia or Kristina. Over the decades, Felicia grew from the romantic adventurer into a mother, a friend, and a woman navigating the complexities of family and loyalty. Kristina grew too, taking time away from Hollywood, raising her children, and finding herself beyond the world of daytime television. Now, as she plays a seasoned version of Felicia, Wagner looks back with compassion. When I watch old episodes, I want to hug that girl. She was so eager, so ready to prove herself. She didn't know the challenges ahead, or the triumphs, but she had a spark. She was on her way. It's not lost on fans that Wagner herself mirrors Felicia's spirit. Both women have weathered storms, embraced change, and emerged stronger. Felicia isn't just a character, Kristina said. She's part of me. She taught me resilience, how to fight for love, and how to embrace who I am. Connection that lasts. Kristina's reflection isn't just about personal growth. It's about gratitude. She acknowledges the fans who've been with her since day one. It's incredible to know people have grown up with Felicia. She was in their living rooms when they were kids, and now their own children are watching. That kind of legacy is rare, and I don't take it lightly. Her Felicia-Versary post was met with waves of support, as longtime viewers reminisced about first seeing her in the 1980s, or about watching Felicia help anchor the Scorpios and the Jones family through decades of twists. Many fans echoed back Kristina's words. That girl then was indeed on her way. And look how far she's come. Felicia's place in GH today. In General Hospital's current canvas, Felicia is more than just a legacy character. She's a stabilizing force. As Max Scorpio's partner, a mother to Maxie and Georgie, and a guiding light in times of crisis, she represents the best of Port Charles. And Kristina relishes playing this version of Felicia. I love that she's still here, still contributing, still offering heart and perspective. She's not the wide-eyed girl anymore. She's the woman who's lived, who knows the cost of choices, and who can still love fiercely. That balance between past and present, between that girl then and this woman now, is part of what makes Wagner's reflection so powerful. It's not about longing for youth. It's about honoring the journey. The gift of looking back. Not everyone gets the chance to revisit their younger selves so vividly. For Kristina Wagner, old tapes, anniversary dates, and fan celebrations give her a mirror into who she once was. It's a gift, honestly, she explained. I get to see that girl who was brave enough to step into Felicia's shoes. I get to acknowledge her, thank her, and remind myself that even when I didn't feel it, I was on my way. Her words resonate far beyond soap operas. They speak to anyone who's looked back at their younger self and realized just how far they've come. Felicia-Versary, a celebration of then and now. The Felicia-Versary isn't just about marking a date. It's about celebrating growth, resilience, and the intertwining of art and life. For Kristina Wagner, it's a reminder of where she started, and how far she's traveled. "That girl then, she was on her way," she repeats, almost like a mantra. And fans can't help but agree. She was, and she still is. From a feisty Aztec princess to a beloved matriarch, from a young actress finding her voice to a seasoned star reflecting on her journey, Kristina Wagner's Felicia is proof that soap operas don't just tell stories, they become them. And on this Felicia-Versary, Wagner reminds us all to look back at our younger selves with kindness. To recognize the spark, even when we didn't yet see the flame. Because whether in Port Charles or in real life, the journey matters. And like Kristina and Felicia, we're all still on our way.